The judge was on the judge when we moved here. He started practicing family law. He got into family law paralegal. He passed that. He became a CASA representative, which the state of New Hampshire did away with the volunteer CASA representative, because one of their reasons was that if somebody was to get this training, they would have tremendous control over somebody's life, which is exactly what he did. He got the training. He became a CASA representative. The judge sat on the GAL board. She appointed a GAL of her choosing. His lawyer was a GAL. Then they send you to therapists. His therapist was a GAL. The parenting coordinator was a GAL. The psychological evaluator is involved in such a way that he didn't listen to one word that I said about living with a drug addict and taking abuse, being threatened to take my children away. They listened to not one word that I said. My children have been literally just taken away from me for absolutely no reason at all. And you should see, and she didn't investigate our lives, Bill. I raised those kids. I stayed home. I was a stay-at-home father for 9 years. A beautiful home, 6,400 square feet in New Jersey. Spotless children, spotless house. I didn't have a maid. I didn't have a maid in that house. I had nothing. I did the law, everything. The judge literally threw 12 years of my life out the door and raising triplet girls. Threw it right out the door. I'm done.
But wait a minute. Before I turn the camera, you were talking about how much you love your daughters. Would you talk about that for a second?
There is, when you see your child for the first time in your life, they're your blood. They're the blood in your veins. They're your heart walking around on the outside of your body. And then when you get angry at the system and you get upset at the system, they say that you have an anger problem and they send you to an anger management course. Because you're taking away, you're ripping my heart right out of my chest. Not one word. I would be, the whole solution to the separation was literally handed to this man on a silver platter. I didn't even get health insurance at the end. I got nothing. Nothing. And they took my kids. I went to three LADAC professionals. I've had two blood tests. He had one and a urine test. I stood in front of a judge begging her, because my daughters were on Facebook, posted at 25 years old, talking about things like sex toys, going to sex stores, using KY jelly. I went to the GAL's office with complaints like I confiscated a 6-inch blade pocket knife out of my daughter's pocket. The guidance counselor was calling me up, telling me that she was acting out in school, purposely refusing to do her assignments. My other daughter was showing up to school in her pajamas. These were the reasons why I went to the court, because I was with a partner who was not adhering to any social norms. And if you do any research on a drug addict or any kind of person, they do not want to adhere to. So he's rearing these children to be literally out of the social norm. My children can do whatever they want. And I have no say about it. And the made sure that I wouldn't have any say.
Why do you think this happened? Is it
Money.
Because of
Money. When we went to court, we were worth somewhere within the range of $3 to $6 million. And the stock market started to fall, so my partner became extremely frustrated. And we had 3 children at the time. Stock market's falling. He had decided to quit his job years before that. The stock market fell, and he literally started to look at me and say, that's where I can make up for the children being raised. I can now take him and try to sue him for child support. After I went and had contracts drawn up, I sat right in front of a lawyer. Both of us did. He denied signing. I don't remember signing anything. I don't remember signing anything. And the judge did not recognize one thing. So now here I am. I don't see my children. I haven't worked in 14 years, really at a real job. So I'm unmarketable. I'm 51 years old. And I actually pay child support $50 a month right now. But the minute I start to make money, he'll be right on top of me. Not that makes a difference, but it's the whole conniving way how this guy literally used the system to get exactly what he wanted. The psychological evaluator I sat with this man for 4 days, for 6 visits, 4 to 6 hours at a time, and told him that I was living under emotional stress with constant threats, not constant, but periodic threats are enough to literally know that somebody doesn't want you and they're going to take your kids. And I sat in a 4-day trial. He didn't report one word the way I told him. They twist, they turn, they say whatever they want to say, and once the lies start, they don't stop. They get worse and worse and worse and worse. When they make up their mind that you're the one that they don't like, that's it. That's it. They even used my daughter's therapist. There's a whole book. Anybody that's smart enough to want to do this to somebody, all they have to do is research. They literally, I remember seeing a book online and starting to learn all about it, but the hair started raising up on the back of my neck, and I'm like, no, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening. But there's a book. And what they do is they start to insinuate that the father is somewhere accountable to be some kind of an abuser or a sexual molester to the child. The GAL told me to go to one of my daughter's therapy sessions. So I thought at the time when she told me that, she's maybe seeing a little bit of what I'm saying here. Thank God, let me go to the therapy session. I went to the therapy session. I raised my children. I had these babies with 3 of them. They were this big. Since I have these kids laying in the head in the palm of my hand, the feet. My daughter sat on my lap in the therapist's office, and I put my hands through her hair. This is one of the loves of my life. I put my hands through her hair. She's sitting on my lap. The therapist, who was right in on it, basically said to my daughter, "You look nervous, Andrea. You look nervous. Do you want to move?" And Andrea's like, no, it's fine. Well, I had put Andrea on my lap, but she hadn't been on my lap in a while, and she got a little heavy. So I was putting my hands through her hair. So finally I said to her, you know what, Andrea, go sit over there. Let's talk and stuff. So we talked. That came up in the courtroom. There was a hearing that was based around the fact to where his lawyer looked at the judge, and I knew because I read the book. where his lawyer looked at the judge and insinuated that my daughter was nervous sitting on my lap when I was putting my hands through her hair. At that minute, I literally, when the session got out, I told my lawyer, I said, look, I can't see my girls. I can't see my girls because these people are not going to stop. It became clear. It was evident. So at that time, you don't want to wind up in jail. I'm not going to end up in jail as some kind of an offender or something when I have done absolutely nothing. And how does a GAL come up with an assumption that I'm a bad father when not 1 ounce of not 1 ounce of investigation, nothing. She literally overlooked him being a drug addict. They forced me into becoming angry and sent me to anger management, didn't look at the LADAC professionals, and said, if I have it correctly, in my divorce decree, said about me that I need help with my substance abuse problem. I don't have a substance abuse problem. That's a public document. My whole life, my parents raised 6 children, and everybody's not perfect, but I'm not a drug addict. Now I'm labeled a drug addict on paper, and it's my mouth is still a little floor, Bill. I don't think I'll ever be able to pick my jaw up. I'm sorry. See what happens? I sleep every night. The sad part about it is there's not 1 second out of the day that those kids are not in my mind. Not 1. And here I am, a father, a good, loving, I went to 4 years to try to relax from overprotecting the kids. The GAL she didn't even look at anything, she looked at nothing. I was always watching them, my 9-year-old daughter came to me one day during this and she said to me, Daddy, what's going on? This is a 9-year-old kid. What is a father supposed to say when a 9-year-old kid comes up to him and says, Daddy, why? I don't understand. Why are they keeping you away from us? When Charlie's a good dad, yeah, but you're the one that watches us and cares about what we do. What do you say to the 12-year-old kid? Or the 9-year-old kid at the time. Then she took my other daughter, the GAL took my other daughter and interrogated her in her office. And it's all in a book. These are series, these are steps. This is documented stuff that you can see on the internet, that these are the steps that they take to do it.
What would you like to see changed?
I believe right now in the state of New Hampshire, there is a statute, and I'm not sure of the number of it, but there's a statute that basically says if I did nothing to not see my children, and I'm not a drug addict, which is I've proven over and over again, I should have to do nothing to see my kids. I want to see my children. I want the illegal alien taken. I don't want her taken out of their lives, but I don't want an illegal alien with a fake driver's license driving my children around and watching them. I'm concerned about my children's safety. A woman called me the other day, basically told me that she filed a report with DIFUS because he's leaving them home all hours of the night, alone. I'm afraid he might be using drugs again. And the judge sat on the bench. I asked in my parenting plan, can you please have him go and get a sponsor? have chips, go to therapy at least once every 2 weeks for the safety of the children. She recognized not one thing, nothing. I might as well not even have gone to the courtroom.
Was there a relationship between the attorney for your ex-partner and the judge that you're aware of?
Well, you know that the judge sat on the GAL board. The judge handpicks the GAL that she assigns to the case. The GAL was definitely, it was almost like the GAL that the judge assigned was coaching his lawyer. His lawyer is very big with DIFUS, very, very big with DIFUS, and he was a CASA representative. It was mentioned a few times to the judge that there is a possibility, or I think one of my lawyers literally said, well, there's obviously a personal relationship going on here because she's not listening. The GAL never called me up on anything, never asked my side of any story, never once said, okay, Carlo, you know what? This is what Charles told me. Now, what is the story? What is your side of the story? She literally listened to everything he said and wrote up motions to further and further and further take me away from my children. I wasn't even asked. There was a situation, we were at the football field one day, and he had called her up and he told her something, and I was in anger management at the time, and the GAL, she I forget what the result of it was. It was 3 years of stuff going on, but she never called me. She didn't ask me anything. And I said to the anger management, I told the anger manager, the GAL never called me. The anger management literally told me, she said, well, there are more than one side to a story. There are two sides. But the motions went in, and I was taken away. I'm serious, Bill, not one word. No, let's stop.